Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. I hope we are doing well. We are live on YouTube right now, youtube.com/The Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. We have an Instagram, next_step_pod. We are also live on... Wait, I said that. I'm sorry. We're live on YouTube. I'm sorry. We have a Facebook page, Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. It's good to see you guys. How are we doing, Jordan?
I'm doing great.
Good. It's just a good day. It's just a good day. It's just, we're feeling it good. We're missing Adam. I believe we'll get him back 2 weeks. Does that sound right to you, Jordan?
I think so. We're getting
Tentatively. The season's ending soon, so yeah, he's been killing it on his end, but he'll be back. He's been missing us. We've been missing him.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll be back.
I just miss Adam.
And we miss him. Yeah. Our takes aren't as good without Adam, you know?
No, they're not. What's up, John? Go ahead and drop your fantasy questions if you have them in here. We will answer them as we go. I know our boy Don posted something. I lost it, though. I'm going to find it while we do the thing. So
great.
Jordan, do you want to get the next step side of this going? Jamie, it's good to see you. We will be talking about what we're doing on Sunday as well with you, so stick around. You ready, Jordan?
Yeah, ready. Let's do it.
All right, I am ready when you are. Oh, Jordan, you hit it already. Well, it's fine. You can edit this part out. Welcome back to Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. We're here to help you take the next step in your fantasy journey. My name is Jake, and before I even introduce my co-host, I'm going to wave to my son, Oliver. Oliver, how you doing? Uncle Jordan says hello. Jordan's here as well. Jordan, how you doing?
Oh, I'm great.
Good.
And happy to have loyal listeners like
loyal listeners like my 4-year-old son, Oliver. We are live on YouTube right now, youtube.com/Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. Jordan was making fun of me before we started. Oh, man. I got something. I got a frog in my throat.
Yeah, stop clearing your
Jordan,
throat.
this is
yourself.
This is our livelihood. And I'm not. My voice is the most important part of this.
It sure is. Yeah, you gotta rest that. Drink some tea.
Drink some tea, some chamomile. We are missing Adam again. It looks like we'll probably get him back within the next 2 weeks. He's just, we mentioned it before. He's coaching. That's a full-time gig, right? So we're missing him. He's missing you guys. We have a chat, Facebook Messenger chat, and he's constantly talking about you guys. So. You ready, Jordan? Ready for week 5?
I'm ready.
Were you ready? It's been a long day. I'll admit I'm a little sleepy.
It seems like it. But we'll bounce back. I got a lot of news.
Great. Let me hit with your question that you can think of today. Jordan, no context at all. I just Googled things to ask your friends. That's what I Googled today. And it's simple. Top 3 favorite animals. That's it. Favorite animals. I'll hit you with mine to start out. Number 3. The baboon.
The baboon.
Who wouldn't want to hang out with a baboon? A monkey in general, but a baboon just looks like a hoot of a time. Number 3, the turtle. Have you ever owned a turtle before?
Never.
They're great. My wife owned turtles. Unfortunately, the turtle didn't make it. But he didn't have the will to live. He kept burrowing himself. Like tunnels.
This is a terrible
I know,
story.
and they just kept falling. It was just traumatizing. And number 1, the favorite animal in the world, the owl. The owl is a good animal. Hoot, as they say.
Hoot. All
Hoot,
right.
hoot.
Interesting.
And plus, they're just so pretty.
They're so pretty?
Pretty. Speaking of an animal I hate, though, butterflies.
Oh.
Jordan and I went to a museum once. There was a butterfly room. I hated it. I hate butterfly rooms.
Yeah, it wasn't your.
It was
Let's go forward. That's for sure.
Katie says, my fantasy question isn't appropriate. Okay, relax.
Whoa.
Sorry, that's my wife. Chef says, sup fellas, glad to be here. Good to have you here, man. And last week's question from John, Mexican, Chinese, and pizza food. I've talked about this. I'll say it again. Pizza is not a cuisine.
What is it? Are you going to call it Italian or something?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a subgenre. It's like, I also learned, this is just going off the rails. I also learned today that Salt is considered a condiment. Did you know this?
Instead of a
Anything you
seasoning?
add to food to make it better, it can be considered a condiment. So, like, peanut butter is a condiment. Jam is a condiment. The subcategory
What does this
would
have
be.
to do with
it
anything?
doesn't, but the subcategory would be spread.
All right.
All right.
Moving right along.
John says shark, cardinal, badger. Ooh, those are good 3. And Jamie says I own a turtle when I was a kid, but he never took to his ninja training, so got rid of him.
It's because he didn't live in a sewer.
He needed
That
radioactive.
was the critical piece. Yeah, it's a critical piece you were missing. But you could have fed him Jake. You could have fed him Jake's favorite Italian food, pizza.
I hate you so much. You're just the absolute worst. Before we get into it, Jordan, I have an announcement. I will be participating on a separate YouTube channel / podcast called Going for Two. They're great. They cover all sorts of fantasy stuff, sports stuff, and I will be there Sunday morning doing a show before the games. So I'll be able to answer those start-sit questions. I went ahead and if you're live on YouTube right now or you're watching it later, I linked their YouTube channel in the chat. So go ahead and click them. Hit the subscribe button. They do some great stuff over there, and you can see me over there.
It's exciting
on Sunday. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to collaborate with other people. This is the first time we're kind of doing that with another channel. So for us, it's kind of like a little milestone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So those guys are really appreciate you guys letting me come over there and hang out. And I'm really looking forward to it. So hopefully this can be the beginning of something really cool. So yeah, go check them out. We'll link them in the description of this video as well. But yes, go hit that subscribe button. Going for Two is their YouTube channel. Jordan, is mayonnaise a condiment?
No. What are you even talking about?
That's what he asked.
Is this?
Would
What is this
should shrimp
conversation?
be a condiment?
We're moving on. I'm done with this. All right.
All right.
What
Let's-
a disaster. 5 minutes in, Jake, and you've just been talking about
I
nonsense.
have absolutely no regrets.
I
This is what happens when Adam's not here. It's just a
Adam,
disaster.
I miss you, man. I miss you, buddy. Come back. All right.
Go ahead.
It's Jordan with the news time.
Okay.
Adam, thank you so much,
God, I
Adam,
love that.
as always. We always got to edit it in. All right. Some interesting stuff going on this week. Chase Claypool, absent from the team. He's expected to be released this week if they can't find a trade. And I would just like to make a reminder to anyone on the Bears that are Bears fans. They traded the first pick of the second round for him, and that stings.
I love how Justin Fields came out today and was like, "Yeah, he learned. Probably shouldn't have said that." If you missed it, they asked him if they're using him correctly, and he said, "Nope." So then they said, "Okay, don't come hang around with us."
Yeah.
Which I don't want to be on Chase Claypool's side on this, but I have to say, they're probably not using him correctly, right? Like if we're being honest, yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's for sure.
yeah. So yeah, you can safely drop Chase Claypool from your rosters right now.
Yeah, unless they, someone will pick him up, I'm sure. But then you figure it takes a couple weeks to get into the system and and you know it's going to be the Patriots that pick him up. And
He's gonna be in that Juju Smith, Devontae Parker.
Yeah.
Chad Boots, how's it going, man? Good to have you in here.
All right. Jonathan Taylor returning to the team.
Mm-hmm.
So 4 weeks was PUP. He's on the PUP list. That's 4 weeks. So he's returning to the team, and he, quote, still does not want to play for the Colts, and, quote, they still don't want to give him a long-term contract.
Jeez.
So we'll see what happens, but he can be back. He's back with the team now. He can be practicing.
Jordan, when will we see him?
Oh, man. Do you think he holds out the whole year?
I think he comes back because otherwise he's stuck, right? He has to come back, otherwise his year doesn't count.
Yeah.
And
the Colts are, they're competitive in that division, you know?
I could definitely see them. Listen, I'm going to say this and then he'll be back tomorrow, but, I could see him taking the whole 3 weeks just because he's trying to get as much leverage as he can.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It doesn't seem like they're going to give him a long-term deal. The Colts are playing well without him. They're competitive in that division. Zach Moss has been playing well. So, I don't think he has leverage, to be honest. And the Colts were looking for, Jalen Waddle in, a trade. And,
they wanted Christian
it's
Watson
not gonna
from the
happen.
Packers.
Yeah. I just feel like that's not going to happen.
I would have said bye-bye, Christian Watson. I would
Oh,
have
you
too.
would've
I
gone-
would have 100%.
Yeah,
That
because the Packers don't have enough running backs.
well, and okay, all right. That actually is a good segue here. Chef says Dynasty Trade hit his inbox. Chef, go ahead and drop your YouTube channel in here too. He has a channel as well. He says Dynasty PPR. He gets JT and Nico Collins. He gives up Amon-Ra St. Brown and Michael Pittman. He feels like an overpay on my end, but need a running back. For me, I am doing that. I think
For
that
Jonathan Taylor and Nico Collins?
yes, I think that Jonathan Taylor, no matter where he goes eventually, he's going to be the best piece in that. We've seen how good he is. I understand being nervous about giving up Amon-Ra, right? Because he's just a monster. I really like Nico Collins. I think that's a big part of it too. He's currently wide receiver 6 on the year. He is. We asked 2 weeks ago, is Nico Collins a must start? And we were kind of wavering, right? I think it's safe to say he is now a must start.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
I like getting JT. It depends on what the rest of your roster looks like. What other receivers do you have? Like, if you have another good receiver, then I feel a lot better about it. If Amon-Ra St. Brown and Michael Pittman are your 2 best receivers, then I probably would not do it. Because you'd be pretty deep or pretty shallow.
I agree. Yep. All right, let me hit you with some other things. Rashad Bateman, Odell Beckham Jr., Justice Hill, all banged up for the Ravens, but they're practicing.
Odell's coming back.
It is crazy to me that this happens to like the Ravens and the Chargers every year. Like
Bad medical staff, man.
Yeah, that is just not a coincidence. I feel strongly about that. Anyway, speaking of other injuries, Kenny Pickett limited in practice. He had kind of a weird knee injury. Like he was
They
out.
thought he might be like hurt.
But
Yeah.
it seems like he's practicing. Pat Fryermuth's not practicing. He's probably going to miss this week.
Oh, Pat.
Derek Carr also limited in practice, and I wish Adam was here because what is Derek Carr this season?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know. I think if he gets healthy, he could be he could
Fine.
take him to the playoffs.
Could
But
he?
yeah, I think the Saints are the best team in that division. That's my opinion.
Shout out Don. It is the Buccaneers.
It is not
All
the
right,
Buccaneers.
moving right along.
Baker's playing well though.
Javonte Williams doesn't practice with a hip injury on Wednesday. Might not play this weekend. Another ouch. Sorry, Denver. Other people that are limited in practice. Ramondre Stevenson is limited. Could mean Zeke gets a little bit more touches. Amon-Ra St. Brown not participating in practice, but they didn't list him as like questionable or anything. So kind of a weird situation there with an abdomen injury to keep an eye on. T. Higgins not practicing with a rib injury. He was ruled out pretty early on in last week's game for the Bengals. Cooper Kupp coming back, designated to return from IR. That means his 21-day window opens to start practicing. So look out. We were probably 3-ish weeks away from seeing Cooper Kupp.
I mean, it's rumored he might be back sooner. I mean, it just really depends. They're for some reason right now talking about how they might be able to. He might be able to play this week. I don't think that's likely.
And what I was reading, at least getting prepped for this, it seemed like no, but he was back as like a limited participant in practice.
Yeah.
Now. So I would be shocked if he plays this week. It seems like why would you rush him back?
Oh yeah, you better take your time with him.
Yeah. Other guys in full participation, Aaron Jones and Christian Watson, back full participants in practice. That's exciting. We'll talk about this a little bit later, but like to finally have a Packers offense that might be full strength.
That would be really nice.
Haven't had all year.
Yeah.
Jimmy G still in the concussion protocol, might not play in week 5. So poor guy. I wish I could have told you so.
Okay.
Everyone who listens.
Okay. We don't need to get into it much right now, but I still. He'll be back.
Oh, that he was going to miss time at some point this year?
I mean, what did we argue about? I mean, we argued that
We argued a lot of things.
We argued
like
a lot
10.
of things.
Yeah,
I said
he
he
could-
finished top 15, which I still don't
that's
think
okay.
is the worst take in the world.
You're right. It is the second worst take in the world, behind
Okay.
Marlon Mack.
All right.
Okay. Justin Herbert fractured a finger on his non-throwing hand. Shouldn't hold him up at all, but just kind of a nuisance for anyone who owns Justin Herbert. And then the last one that's interesting, Jamison Williams.
He's back.
Suspension, yep, a little bit short. So he was back this Monday, and he's on track to play this week. We'll see what his role is in the offense right now that he's back, but he's kind of that home run hitter that you never know. If you remember last year, his first game, he he like caught a 60-yard touchdown, and like that was it for like the rest of the season.
Yeah.
He had like two other catches or something. So hopefully he gets a little more involved in that offense. The offense is fun. I like Detroit. They're doing all kinds of crazy stuff over there, and it's working. So I like it.
All right, let's catch up on the chat before we get into these things this week. Chad said he heard from another video that Nico Collins has been working out with Andre Johnson in the offseason since he got in the league. Love that, if that's the case. Andre Johnson's, we love some Andre Johnson. And John says, Baker is baking, which is true. He has been baking. He's been doing very well.
Yep, for sure.
All right, Jordan, shall we get into our Thursday night Top Gun? So anyone who's new here, maybe it's the first time catching us, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that share button. If you have any fantasy questions, ask them. We will try to get to them and answer them. And then, so a Thursday night Top Gun is a guy that, how would you describe it, Jordan? How would you describe it?
He has underperformed this season.
Yes. A guy who we are high on and we think could vastly outperform his projection. And for us, that person, let me switch it over. I look on our live stream right now. That person is Terry McLaurin. So going into the season, you're drafting Terry McLaurin. He's your wide receiver 2. Worst case, he's your wide receiver 1. I wouldn't have been very happy with that personally, but he's one of those guys that I bet you there are some teams that took him that way. Has it went well, Jordan?
It has not. Like I said, underperformed.
I am looking up the stats. 1 sec. So he had his best game last week. So he had 8 receptions, 86 yards. Before that, 6 for 41, 5 for 54, 4 and a touchdown, and then 2 for 31. So right now, we're getting the guy who's averaging just over 5 catches a game, right? I think that Terry McLaurin is very much tied to how well does Sam Howell do. This is a really interesting game to me because we just watched the Chicago Bears play really well. We finally got to see Justin Fields be the Justin Fields we want. I'm willing to say for Justin Fields that was probably his best game. He threw for 4 touchdowns. He had never done that.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
That's what I want. We know he can run, right? So let's see. My point being, they're coming off a high, even though their quarterback, their head coach completely fumbled that game, but they're playing well. So I think that they're going to have to pass a good amount in this game. I think we could see that from both teams. And if that's the case, I want the best player available. So you're already starting Terry McLaurin. Most likely. But, maybe you have Puka, who just jumped him, right? Or I'm just trying to think of some guys off the top of your head. Maybe there are some other guys who have come out that you are willing. Cortland Sutton's been playing well. Maybe you'd consider him. I feel really good about Terry McLaurin in the flex spot this week. I think we could get a touchdown out of him. I think he can definitely, especially full point PPR, outperform his current projection.
I agree. Yeah, I was looking up some stats about it before. He's got like 25% of the target share. The Commanders' throw are like top 10 in like pass attempts. So it's been a pretty pass heavy offense, which I guess is kind of surprising. I didn't expect that of Sam Howell. But Sam Howell's been playing well too. So I think, like you said, touchdown.
Last week was pretty bad, or 2 weeks ago was pretty bad for him.
Yes, but I think he's been generally playing better than expected this season.
Yeah, I think Scary Terry is just one of those guys that's a really good receiver. He's just stuck with not that great of quarterbacks. You put Terry McLaurin and give him, you give him Joe Burrow, it'd be over, right?
Yes.
Any competent quarterback. I'm willing to say like Russell Wilson. You give Terry McLaurin to Russell Wilson, like that would be beautiful. We've talked about. Adam's talked about the Broncos a lot. Just kind of shift a little here. Didn't realize how good Russell Wilson has been this year. He had 9 touchdowns versus 2 picks. It's just that they're not winning games. No, fantasy-wise, he's a top 10 quarterback right now.
You're absolutely right. And if I'm looking at it only from fantasy football, you're right. You love me some Russell Wilson.
I agree. But we don't need to talk too much more about that. Jordan, before we get into Sunday, let me catch up with the chat. We're live right now, youtube.com/Next Fantasy Football Podcast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button for us, guys. That is greatly appreciated. Joey says he's here. Joey, it's good to see you. Don says, late to the show, driving home and listening, not watching YouTube. Don, if you're truly listening, do not watch us while you're driving, please. We are not liable for you. Also, we don't want to see you get hurt. We appreciate your commitment. It is not worth an accident, though. John says Scary Terry is scary this year because of how bad they've been. Yeah. Chef says Bears secondary is all injured and we are bad and we are bad at football. I mean, this could be one of those bad Thursday night games. Brian Crosby, new face here, asked us Lions or Commanders defense this week, John. Or John, sorry. I was just talking to my buddy John. That's why he's fresh in my head. Jordan, Lion or Commanders? So we got Commanders versus Bears, or we got Lions versus, I believe, Carolina. Off the top of my head. Yep.
I feel like Lions. The Lions.
I also like the Lions this week. I think. Yeah. I mean, Bryce Young's getting his butt kicked back there. So sacks, get your points. Give me the Lions this week. While I do think this could be not the best Thursday night football game, I also, when you're playing Justin Fields, you always have that chance where he's just going to go running off and just completely screw you.
Do you?
Okay, he has not been running as much.
Do you?
I'll admit. Joey says Curtis Samuel, Logan Thomas are the only pass-catching options that he'd be willing to start. I will respectfully disagree. I think Terry McLaurin, I would much rather start him over Curtis Samuel. And did you hear and Jamie asked, did you hear the Panthers are in trade talks for Higgins? I saw that they are looking to get a big-time bona fide receiver. And I think Higgins is a good one because he needs to be paid, and they're not currently paying him. So
yeah, I've been hearing kind of news around that too, but I haven't heard oh, we should go get Devontae Adams or something like that too. Like they're looking for big names. They're big fish hunting. So I think that I guess T. Higgins fits the mold there. So
yeah. All right, Jordan. We have a question, and then we'll get into our Sunday, guys. And then you guys keep dropping your questions. Make sure you hit that sub button as well for us. So Jordan, Mr. Fantasy Master. First of all, feeling very honored and a little intimidated. Says someone offered Antonio Madison. Oh my God,
Alexander.
Thank you. For anyone who's not new, I've been getting that wrong for 2 years now. Madison and DJ Moore for Connor. Should I do it? Okay. So we got DJ Moore and Madison for Connor. His team currently is Mahomes, McCaffrey, Connor, Waddle, McLaurin, Hunter Henry, Javonte Williams, and then Christian Watson and Pickens. First of all, very good team.
Yeah. No, Alexander Madison is not worth anything. That is just fake. You would never start him.
Yeah, so pretty much do you want DJ Moore at the price of James Conner when you're already dealing with a hurt Javonte Williams? Yeah, I'd probably say no. I mean, I feel good about Waddle and McLaurin and Pickens and Watson as my receivers.
Whoever offered you that trade, we definitely took our advice last week and said, do whatever you can to trade Alexander Madison before Cam Akers shows up and starts stealing carries.
And it's already begun.
And here it is. Yeah.
All right. Jordan, why don't you start talking about some Sunday guys? Start, sit. Who you starting, who you sit?
All right. Let me tell you who I'm starting. I'm starting Devon Achane.
Of course you are.
Versus the New York Giants. So I think there was kind of 2 weeks ago, the 70-point game out of Miami, and it was like kind of, I would say, a fluke of a game.
Yeah. I mean,
4 touchdowns, all kinds of yards, everything like that. You're like, all right, you can't repeat that. And then he went ahead and pretty much did it again the next week. Obviously not 4 touchdowns and 200-odd yards, but a huge fantasy week again. Mm-hmm. I expect that not to be like RB1 overall kind of numbers every single week, but news is coming out. They're giving him a bigger role. It's obviously visible they're giving him a bigger role. So, again, not expecting 4 touchdown games to keep happening, but the Giants' defense is just bad. They are so bad, and their run defense is so bad. So I think that the Dolphins get out to a lead early against the Giants and then just run the ball. Yeah, and that benefits all running backs there. And I'm liking what I'm seeing out of just the usage of Devon Achane.
Yeah, this is a good Raheem Mostert Achane week. Right? I mean,
yeah, I think they're both.
What I love about him right now is I love the yards per carry. I mean, he's
going
like
11
he's going 100 yards on like 10 carries. Jordan, you looked that up, but it's awesome. Like that's just what I love that. Yeah, I think he needs to be. For me, he's a flex play. I think while he's producing crazy numbers right now, I think it's worth mentioning that he's also splitting a backfield nearly 50-50. So, I mean, he's off the field a lot, which I'm not a big fan of. But I think, yeah, starting this week, they're going to have to run. They're going to run the ball because they're going to be up a lot. So, you got the yards per carry?
Yeah, 11.4.
11.4. Okay.
Yeah, that's just unfair.
That's unfair. Let me go ahead and I'm starting the number one receiver from the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is who, Jordan? It's Christian Kirk. It is Christian Kirk.
Say that.
It is 100% Christian Kirk. Listen, I mean, he's 24 receptions on the year already, so he's PPR wise, he's just killing it. What we haven't seen it is in the touchdowns. This offense has not been as good as we thought it would be. They've struggled. I think we were a little disappointed so far in how Trevor Lawrence has gone so far this year, right? Another 8:30 game in London, so they're there again. They're going up against the... Oh my gosh, I just had it in my head. Do you have it in front of you? The Bills, thank you. Yeah. They're going to have to pass the ball. They're going to have to pass the ball. I think this is a good Ridley game as well. But give me the guy who's currently on the hot streak, 8 receptions, 84 yards last week, long of 30. I mean, he has a game of 11 catches for 110 yards on the season so far. So, if he's able to get another touchdown, I really like Christian Kirk this week. I think that we could get 2 wide receiver 2 numbers out of him and Ridley. I just think that with Ridley, I think more teams have drafted him to be a starter. So more people are already starting Ridley. So we're here to say, also start Christian Kirk.
Yeah, he's been doing great. And Tre'Davious White got hurt too last week.
That's a bummer. Season, so. That's one of those guys that everyone just likes.
Yeah. So Achilles. that stinks. Another Achilles. Yeah. What's up with that?
Start stretching.
That's he's another, he's their number one corner. He's going after the number one options. Christian Kirk then slots right in there, and I think he continues to be that wide receiver 1. Interestingly enough, he doesn't have the most receptions on the team, though. That honor goes to Evan Ingram.
Really?
1. Yep.
Interesting.
But Evan Ingram is also worth starting too. He's a great tight end play. Not what we're talking about here. But Christian Kirk, I think, is the surprise of the season with Calvin Ridley there. More generally, like you said, the Jags have just been underperforming there. But anyway, yeah. We'll see. Another London game.
Another London. Yay. Jordan, you got any sits for this week?
I do have a sit this week. It's a little controversial because I'm really high on this guy, and it's hard to... It will be hard to do if he's on your team, but you got to do it.
This is going to be music to my ears, isn't it?
That is, you got to sit Joe Burrow.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, got to sit Joe Burrow this week. He is clearly injured and not playing well. This is just mismanagement, classic Bengals mismanagement of your star franchise player. He's actually not listed on the injury report this week, but he has been playing terribly. In 3 or 4 weeks this season, he has literally not thrown a touchdown. He only had 1 game where he threw touchdowns, and that was against the Ravens, and that was his only semi-good game here. T. Higgins is banged up, might not play. But he's basically last in every statistical category, like completion percentage, yards per pass, yards per carry, passer rating. He's just the worst in the whole NFL, or like second to worst, or something like that. So he's obviously not fully healthy. He's not throwing the deep ball. Jamar Chase is frustrated. He says it in interviews.
Yep.
Against the Cardinals team that's a little sneaky, I might add. A little sneaky this season.
Good. I think a really good one here is, let's play a quick little game, 30 seconds. Joe Burrow or Anthony Richardson this week?
Anthony Richardson.
Joe Burrow or Kirk Cousins?
Kirk Cousins.
Joe Burrow or C.J. Stroud?
C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud should be starting. You should be starting C.J. Stroud in almost every league, by the way. He is doing very well. He's outside. Is he outside your top 10?
Yeah, he's currently quarterback 31 on the year.
No, I'm asking.
But yes, he is outside my top 10.
And our is that reflective in our personal rankings? I can't remember.
In our podcast rankings.
Yes.
Yep. If you are a Patreon member and you get the rankings, yes, he is not in the top 10. Sneak peek. And C.J. Stroud is. So.
Oh, nice. Link on our Facebook page if that's something that's interesting to you. Yeah, I think now I don't like that people are hurt. I think I've mentioned I was not the biggest Joe Burrow fan last year. Then he went and killed it, and I came around. So then anytime I hear him not doing well, I kind of smile a little. But this is, like you said, just terrible mismanagement. This is a hurt player playing hurt and not playing well because of it. And they should shut him down, is my opinion. They should shut him down for a few weeks, and then he'll be fine, and then we can be good. So,
Do you want to know who has the same amount of passing touchdowns as Joe Burrow?
who?
Gardner Minshew.
Love that. That's just nuts.
Correct. Yeah,
Oh my
and
God.
Gardner Minshew played like one game.
Garner Minshew mania, baby. Jamie says my co-host last night was upset with me because I was screaming for Kirk's value over Ridley at ADP all off season. Exactly. It's the same thing. It's very similar to Courtland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy.
Jerry Jeudy.
We were talking.
Yeah.
Courtland Sutton was the guy, and so far that's been the case. Do you have any more? Or do you want to move to Monday?
I mean, I got another start and another sit. but we can go
Give
to
me one more sit. Give me one more sit.
one more sit,
And then we'll move on.
My other sit this week is Ramondre Stevenson, who we've had kind of high up there
Yep.
every single week because we just, that the only offense that the Patriots have is running the ball. That's it. But this week they're versus the Saints. Ramondre Stevenson, I mentioned, he's a little bit banged up. Zeke is always there to steal some carries. New Orleans, interestingly enough, has not allowed a single rushing TD on the year.
Really?
So that defense is, pretty stout. So Patriots are just bad. It's a mess of an organization right now.
Sure is.
Jake, you were probably right when you were saying that Bill Belichick should be
Oh
gone.
God! Don't get me started on him again. He needs
So
to retire.
let me clarify. When I say they're a mess of an organization, I don't mean that. I mean that currently this year, it is not going well, and that is a mess.
They
And
are a mess
it's
of an
obvious.
organization.
It is obvious that there's things that need to be fixed. I really like Ramondre Stevenson because he is the only production that they get, but not this week against the Saints. You sit up.
110% agree. Let's talk about Monday. Our Monday Night Miracle. It's a guy you need at the end of your week to hopefully give you a big week, and that is our man Christian Watson. So Jordan and I's Green Bay Packers going up against the Las Vegas Raiders. He's finally healthy. He is the number one there. I think Romeo Doubs is also very talented, but I think that he's the home run guy. You need a touchdown. He's the one you want to have, right?
Yep.
Jordan Love sneakily has been playing pretty well this year.
Jordan Love, also a great start this week.
I agree. For us, I think the big one here is the touchdown upside. Put him in a flex. That's kind of where I feel comfortable with him at, and I think you could get 20 points out of him. I really do. You get that long touchdown. That's what you want out of your Monday Night Miracle, right? So let me answer your question, Jordan. Say you need 15 points out of receiver, and you own Watson and you own Dobbs. Which one are you going to start?
This week, I really like Watson.
Yeah.
I think Dobbs is still kind of the primary target there, but I think the home run upside for Christian Watson is kind of too good to pass up.
Correct.
And he's fully healthy this week.
Yeah.
I think that's like the key. Last week he played, but was limited in practice all week, and then he finally played. Full participant in practice this week against, and we have it listed here, but we'll make sure this gets posted to everywhere too. But the Raiders are bad. They've allowed the fifth most
are
passing
bad.
touchdowns. Like, they are just giving up all kinds of stuff through the air, and so I think, like you said, Jake, like a slant route that is 30, that's like 10 yards and ends up going for a 60-yard touchdown is totally within Christian Watson's
That's what we
wheelhouse
want.
this week.
That's what we want. So, yep, he's going to be our Monday night guy. So there you go, guys. There is our quick Week 5 preview. Jordan, we almost kept it under a half hour. We're that close.
We always do.
We're that close. Jamie says, does Derrick Henry have close to the same amount of touchdowns as Joe Burrow? Yes, he does.
Sure does. One
And
less.
then Jacob Avery, new face in here, says, please give me your opinion on who to start instead in Week 5. We got DeAndre Swift, 8-Chain, Jonathan Taylor. I need 2 to start, bench and 1. For me, I think it's easy. Well, I don't know if Jonathan Taylor plays.
Yeah, that's easy. Yep.
And let's
Bench
assume he
Jonathan
does.
Taylor.
Let's say he does. I'm still starting A-Chain. I'm still starting Swift.
Yep.
Because
Until Jonathan Taylor, until we get we see what the week looks like.
yeah,
Sit him.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out on him. All right, guys. So there you have it. That's Week 5 for you. I mean, we're already 5 weeks into this. It's zooming through. You can follow us on Facebook at the Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. Oh, let me quickly go back and say We are going, or I will be live with Going for Two YouTube channel podcast on Sunday morning, doing a start sit show with them. Jump on over there, check us out, check him out, check those guys out, and then you'll also get to see my beautiful face. And get your fantasy questions answered there. They do some really great stuff over there. The link for them is pinned to the top of the YouTube right now. I will also have it posted on our Facebook page. So if you're listening to this later, go ahead and check us out or check that out. Support them. I really appreciate them having us over there, and it's very exciting stuff. So yeah, our Facebook page, Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. Like I mentioned, we are live every Wednesday around 6:30 to do the show live on youtube.com/the Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. Jordan, top 3 animals, go.
Oh, I forgot. Maybe like a jaguar. Pretty cool.
This is weak.
I like dogs.
This is weak.
Dogs are nice. And yes, maybe a bird of some kind.
Jordan, we always end the podcast on such a bummer because you can't pull yourself together.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
More talking from Jordan. Everyone, we
Oh,
appreciate you guys hanging around. Until next week, or never mind, I'll see you guys Sunday. Take care.
All right.
Be good. My friends on YouTube, I appreciate you guys we appreciate you guys hanging around. Like I mentioned, click that link currently at the top of the comment section to follow us, or I'm sorry, to go check out the Going for Two podcast / YouTube channel. And we will see you guys there on Sunday and to get your fantasy questions answered. We appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Jordan, you have anything else you want to say to these guys?
Nope, go get those dubs this week.
Go get those dubs this week. All right, guys, take care. Be good. Jamie said